Welcome back to our city. This happens to be National Donate Life Month, and I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Oscar Colon, who is a donation specialist at the New Jersey Sharing Network. Oscar, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Ginny Wilson, a Networks clinical at Trinitas Regional Medical Center, a registered nurse. Thank you. And Mr. Keith Gerald, a heart and liver donation recipient.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show, Keith.
Good to be here. Thank you.
After I say that, Keith, I have to begin with you. So tell us about yourself. Were you born with a defective
I wasn't
heart?
born this way. I caught 2 viruses in college, and it attacked my heart. And from there, I got congestive heart failure. My heart was pumping at 32%, and I needed a defibrillator. Took a few pills, and it got worse, and I needed a transplant, a heart transplant. And then it got worse. My heart was so bad that it affected my liver, and I ended up needing a heart and liver transplant. I was fortunate enough to get one 8 months ago.
8 months ago.
Yes, sir.
You had a heart and liver, and you told me before we started the show that you can run a 5K.
Oh yeah, I'm up to a mile running 5K. Walking, I'm walking about 4 or 5 miles a day. I'm very active.
Really?
Yes.
Were you active before?
No, not as much.
So now you're doing it.
Yeah.
Keeping this heart going.
Well, before I wasn't able to even walk around the block. It was serious. And now after my transplant, I'm telling you, I'm walking.
And you're 26 years old. You said.
26. Yeah. Doing normal 26 things.
Where'd you have the surgery?
Philadelphia. I was started at Robert Wood Johnson. They took care of me at first, but they don't perform dual transplants.
Okay.
The heart and liver. But I was fortunate enough.
What? Had to be scary a little bit. No?
A little bit, just a tiny bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to get through it with my art therapy, prayer, and I got through it.
Family?
Family, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mention that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
If they watch the show, they say, "Hey, you left the family out." They're not going
man.
to go for that. Yeah.
Nah.
Now you know the family of the donor, correct? And
They just wrote me. He was a 20-year-old male. Good guy. His story is similar to mine. He was an uncle, the youngest of 3. And he was a good guy. He had a big heart, and I know because I have it.
you have it.
Yeah, definitely.
So Ginny, as a nurse, and you work in healthcare, you've become an organ donor.
Yes.
And tell us that process. What organ did you donate?
I donated my kidney back in 1999.
To a family or a friend or
Stranger.
a stranger?
Well, I actually met his mother on a cruise, and we became friends. She's elderly. We became friends, and his brother couldn't donate, and she was very upset when Ann called me, and I just said, "What's his blood type?" And it was the same as mine. I said, "Let's go get tested," and it was a perfect match.
Just like that, on a cruise, didn't know anybody.
That was in May.
That was in May. Mm-hmm. And you were given the kidney how long down the road after that?
October 6, 1999.
So it was 5 months later you gave the...
Yeah, it was a lot of testing over the
Sure.
summer period for me to be, found eligible.
And are you still in touch with this person?
Oh, now I am.
Now you
Now we're not strangers.
Now you're not strangers.
Now we're not strangers.
You were, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in the
Perfect.
beginning, right?
Yeah, perfect strangers.
Yeah.
In fact, when I first offered, they were hesitant to take it. They felt awful about it, but I wrote them a letter.
And as a nurse, you know you can live with only one kidney, correct?
Yes, I just can't ride motorcycles or play football anymore.
But were you doing that before 1999?
Sure.
Yeah. So, Oscar, these two stories are fascinating for somebody like me, but you live this every day. You help put people like this together.
Correct.
And
Mayor.
tell us how you do that, Oscar.
I am a clinical donation specialist, and as part of the organization that I work for, which is the Sharing Network, we are the federally designated organization that services most of the state of New Jersey. And every time there is a patient that meets certain criteria at a hospital by federal regulation, we have to be notified, and then we start the process.
Going to meet with the family that's going to become the donor, though, has to be difficult if their family member is going to pass because of this, correct?
I've been involved for over 20 years, Mayor, and still to this day, it is the most difficult conversation that I have with a person. But at the same time, it's very rewarding to see these people altruistically giving the gift of life to a total stranger like Keith, giving life to that person. without hesitation. And that is what my mission and my passion is, the goodness of people's hearts.
So Keith, after what Oscar just said, did your doctors tell you without a transplant of this magnitude you would not survive yourself?
Oh yeah. Before my
Pretty sobering moment if they told you that, right?
yeah, signing your life away, pretty much, maybe. Kissing my family last time before going in. I remember they telling me, "What do you have a living will?" I'm like, "I'm 25 years old. If I got $20 in my bank account, I don't think nobody wants my will." Sure, I didn't give it to all my charity, I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty impactful.
Yeah, I mean, when the doctor tells you that, and then you get on a list, I guess you're on a waiting list. Right?
Yeah, the waiting list is scary. I mean, every day someone in the United States dies. 17 people die waiting. I'm just fortunate enough I wasn't one of those 17. Just very fortunate. But I knew that this was the only way it was going to save my life.
And the virus you contacted in college, it was undefined?
Undefined. They still don't know the name of it or anything. But I was.
This happened, Ginny, as a nurse? You've seen this before? Undefined viruses?
This is the first I'm hearing
Of him, but I mean,
of this.
but there are such things as undefined
Oh, sure.
viruses,
Oh,
right?
sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and it could affect you in this way. How has the transplant actually altered your life?
I can see into the future. And what I mean by that is, you know, I have two nieces. I never visioned them growing up. You know, I was always just saying, well, you know, I'm gonna, you know, pass away. I mean, I just got my haircut coming here prior to the show.
You look good then.
Thank you, thank you. But I remember asking my barber, I was like, "Do you do funeral arrangements? Do you do that? How much do you charge?" Like, I was actually preparing, you know, this is it. I'm not, and I was grateful enough, you know, now I can live, I'm not living to survive, but I'm just living life.
So when the phone call came that said, "Hey, we have a donor, you have to be here," is there a time limit? I'm going to ask Oscar that question too.
It is a time limit, and yeah, I was fortunate enough. I was in the hospital already, but they still gave me a call, and they said, "Well, you know, we have an organ for you. You know, you can go back to sleep. We can call you back later." I'm like, "I'm not going back to sleep. You just told me I have an organ waiting for me. I'm not." So I waited 12 hours. They came in, they did extra blood tests and extra tissue tests, and they found out that I was a perfect match for him, perfect candidate. You know.
Is there a time limit, Oscar, on this?
Yes, usually when the recipients are already in the operating room to receive the organ, when the organ is being removed from the donor, the recipient is already in the operating room or at the hospital waiting for that organ. So there is a time constraint to keep the organs viable for transplantation. But I just wanted to add some other statistics.
Did you know each other before this? Did you?
No.
No, you didn't?
No, it's the first time that I meet Keith.
Okay.
And it's wonderful because this is my job day in and day out. So it's amazing to see a person alive because of this. But just to give you an idea, Mayor, less than 1% of all the people that die are able to donate organs to save another human being. And in the United States, there's over 120,000 people awaiting for an organ transplant. And like Keith said, an average of 17 die each day. And one organ donor can potentially benefit up to 8 different people. So we have it in our hands to help each other out. And that's why I'm thankful, and we are thankful at the organization, that you have us come to your show to educate the community on the importance of organ donation.
Yeah, we've also done work in City Hall and tables, and Elise Glennon has always been a friend, and whatever we can do to help the organization. Ginny, in your situation, when you did this, what hospital did you do this in?
Columbia Presbyterian in New York.
Mm-hmm. And
'Cause they live in Queens.
they live in Queens. So you had to go there, and this was a little different than Keith because you're in the range time. In other words, right? It was
Right. It was a scheduled day,
right.
and they took both of us into the operating room, and
But you got wheeled in together.
yeah,
just about.
basically, yeah. And they took it out of me. They were, I guess, prepping him, and they take it from one room to the next, and boom.
And so it's been 17 years. So he's doing well.
Well, unfortunately, a year ago he rejected it, which was
So he had it for 16 years before rejection.
it's about 17 years.
Before rejection.
Yeah, before rejection, and just about 3-4 months ago he was able to get a cadaver kidney now.
He was.
And about 5 years ago, his mother was also got a kidney from a cadaver. She was with me when she got the call. Actually, we got the call the night before, like you said. So everybody had to put their drinks down and go to bed, and she had to stay MPO, and about 3:30
I don't know
in the
if I'd be
morning.
putting my drink down. I think I'd be
Well,
drinking more.
we didn't know what time we were going to be driving, Mayor, and
I
you
know,
know,
I
I'm
know.
very law-abiding. You know me. But yeah, and about 3:30 in the morning, she says she's up. She's Irish with a brogue. She said, Ginny, dear, get up. You got to take me to the hospital.
So Keith, what did you share with your friends and others? Do you talk to others about this, or do you? I mean, obviously you're coming on a TV show, so you're not shy about discussing your health issues.
Yeah.
What do you do in privately in group settings? How do you?
I'm just bringing up in conversation anytime. I was at the post office yesterday, handing pamphlets. Two old ladies were talking about their funeral arrangements. It was pretty weird, but I just let them know, like, hey, this is something you need to discuss with your family. This is something important, just as much as your funeral, where you're gonna get buried. Everything is important. And my friends, they said, Keith, enough, all right, we're gonna be arguing. I drilled into them because it was a point where someone told me to become an organ donor, and I believed the myths and all that, and down the road, I needed an organ. And I was fortunate enough to get one. And I just let everyone know. Any chance I get, church, hospital, I'm there. Where it is.
Yeah, I guess you're on some anti-rejection drugs for a long time, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You just keep taking them.
Keep taking them every 12 hours. Take them. I'll live a normal life, perfectly healthy.
And you get checkups every so often.
I get checkups every so often. Yes.
Yeah?
Every month now, checkups. And
So, Oscar, how are the deliveries managed? You know, we see on TV you get helicopters off the roof of the buildings, and you know they fly everywhere. Does that happen in real life, or is it more planned and organized? Like somebody's dying in a hospital, and then you go make a visit.
There is a process behind the scenes. Some of it is similar. There is helicopters that fly in, or Lear jets that take the organs or bring the teams. But there is a whole list of unsung heroes behind the scenes to make this happen. And the process is with dignity and respect to the donor for the gifts he or she is about to give. So everybody's respectful of that. And then when we hear stories like Keith's story, you know, of what a transformation donation has done, it has made your job worth it.
What's the success rate in Trinitas in organ and donation in the past year?
I'm glad you wanted to know that, Mayor.
Well, Trinitas is a
I know, in Elizabeth.
major employer, so I figured I'd better throw them in.
Trinitas has been a major partner with the Sharing Network. Their collaboration from administration to the staff is tremendous. Their hard work has paid off. Last year, Trinitas directly saved the lives of 10 people through 5 organ donors, and through 14 tissue donors, about over 600 people are going to benefit from different types of uses of tissue, like cornea, skin, long bones, and all that. So Trinitas has been a tremendous partner and
Yeah.
collaborator.
Oscar, when I went to redo my license a couple of months ago, the young lady behind the counter said, "Would you like to be an organ donor?"
And what was your answer, Mayor?
I said, "When?" So I didn't know what she meant so quickly. Of course, I checked out whatever the box is, but what struck me as interesting is she asked.
Correct.
So I guess my question is, are DMVs around the state encouraged to ask that question?
Yes, actually, the commissioner of the DMV has instructed and educated their different agencies that they must ask on every license issuance.
Okay.
But the most important part, Mayor, is for people to tell their family what their wishes are, because ultimately they will be making the decision for you if you don't have it on a
Somebody
driver's
else is
license.
right, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Listen, I want to thank the three of you for joining on the show. I feel like I could talk to you for another hour again, especially you, my dad. And you donated one in 16 years ago. It's just absolutely fantastic that you've gone through that. And Oscar, the work that you do, it's absolutely terrific. So
Thank you.
I wish you good health. And
Thank you.
I commend you for your courage. And thank you, Oscar, again.
Thank you very
for
much,
matching
Mayor,
people
for
up.
having
I
us.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very moving show. I want to thank our guests. First, Mr. Keith Gerald, who's been a recipient, Miss Ginny Wilson, who is a donor, Mr. Oscar Colon, a specialist at the New Jersey Sharing Network and the network's clinical at Trinitas Regional Medical Center. We thank them for being on the show. And for the first part of the show, Dr. Craig Donovan and Miss Lisa Barron. And I hope to see all of you next week on another edition of Our City.
We have some of the finest teachers in the country. And then they graduate. Kane University.